TT Isle of Man, one of the most thrilling, dangerous, and historic motorsport events in the world, created for fanatics of speed, skill, and madness. The Isle of Man TT, or Tourist Trophy, started in the early 20th century. At the time, motorcycles were gaining massive popularity, and people were looking for ways to push their machines and themselves to the absolute limit. The Isle of Man, a small, self-governing British Crown dependency located in the Irish Sea, became the perfect setting for such an event. This island already had a bit of motorsport history under its belt, with car races being held there since 1904, but motorcycle enthusiasts quickly saw its potential for something even more extreme. So in 1907, the Isle of Man TT was born. The first race, held on May 28th, featured a grueling 15-lap course that stretched 159 miles over public roads. These roads weren't just any roads, though. They were narrow, twisting, and covered a variety of terrain that tested the riders in ways that no traditional racetrack could. The race started in the town of Douglas, and the competitors included private racers, professionals, and factory teams from some of the leading motorcycle manufacturers of the day. Back then, the bikes were rudimentary compared to today's machines. These early racers were dealing with motorcycles that had around 6 horsepower, but even so, the race was brutal. Riders had to navigate sharp turns, uneven surfaces, and unpredictable weather. Yet, despite the challenge, or perhaps because of it, the Isle of Man TT quickly gained a reputation for being one of the toughest and most prestigious events in motorsport. From its humble beginnings, the TT grew in stature. Motorcycle manufacturers like Norton, Rudge, and AJS became synonymous with the race, using it as a proving ground to showcase the speed, durability, and innovation of their machines. But with the glory came the danger. The Isle of Man TT has long been known as one of the most dangerous races in the world. Since the first event in 1907, over 250 racers have tragically lost their lives in fatal crashes. The narrow public roads, lack of modern safety barriers, and high speeds make this race a deadly spectacle. Let's take a closer look at the course itself. The Sneefell Mountain Course is a 37.73-mile stretch of road that weaves through villages, countryside, and up over the island's rugged hills. The circuit features fast straights, tight corners, and rapid elevation changes, offering a mixture of high-speed challenges and technical sections that demand precise control from the riders. Some sections, like Bray Hill and the notorious Belloc Bridge, have become legendary. Bray Hill, for example, is a steep descent where riders hit blistering speeds before taking a tight left-hand corner at the bottom. Belloc Bridge is another famous spot where riders literally get airborne as they launch off the bridge at high speed. To give you an idea of the intensity of this race, riders today average speeds of over 130 miles per hour on the course. Just think about that for a moment, hurtling down narrow, winding public roads at those speeds, with little margin for error. It's mind-boggling to think that anyone would even attempt such a feat, let alone do it year after year. The TT isn't just one race, it's a series of races held over 2 weeks. The event kicks off with a practice week where riders familiarize themselves with the course and fine-tune their setups. This is crucial because the course demands not just speed, but an intimate knowledge of every corner, bump, and surface change. After practice comes qualifying, where riders aim to secure their grid positions for race week. During the main race week, multiple races are held across different classes. The most famous categories include the Superbike TT, the Superstock TT, the Super Twin TT, and the Sidecar TT. The premier event, though, is the Senior TT, which has been the final and most prestigious race since 1911. This race is often seen as the pinnacle of the entire event, with the best riders and the fastest bikes battling it out for ultimate victory. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Isle of Man TT is its variety of racing categories. The Superbike TT, for example, features high-performance motorcycles with engine capacities of up to 1,000 cc for four-cylinder machines and 1,200 cc for twin-cylinder bikes. These are the top-of-the-line racing machines, built for speed and power, and they showcase the latest advancements in motorcycle technology. The Superstock TT, on the other hand, focuses on production-based motorcycles, allowing modified versions of road-legal bikes to compete. This category is particularly interesting because it highlights the capabilities of motorcycles that you or I could technically buy from a dealership. Well, with some modifications, of course. The Sidecar TT is a unique race in its own right. Sidecar racing involves two people, a rider and a passenger, who works to balance the bike during high-speed sections and help navigate the tight corners. It's a team effort, and if you think riding the TT is terrifying, just imagine being the passenger, hanging off the side of the bike at 100 miles per hour, trying to keep everything stable. Over the years, the Isle of Man TT has seen some of the greatest names in motorcycle racing grace its podium. Riders like Stanley Woods, Jimmy Guthrie, and the legendary Joey Dunlop, who holds the record for the most TT wins with 26 victories, have become synonymous with the event. Joey Dunlop's dominance, particularly in the 1980s and 1990s, cemented his place as one of the greatest road racers of all time. His ability to navigate the dangerous course with such precision and consistency is still talked about today. Another name that stands out is Mike Halewood, who made one of the most legendary comebacks in the history of the sport. After an 11-year hiatus, Halewood returned to the Isle of Man in 1978 and shocked the world by winning the Formula One TT race on a Ducati. His comeback victory remains one of the most iconic moments in the history of the event. In more recent years, riders like Peter Hickman and John McGuinness have continued to push the boundaries of what's possible at the TT. In 2018, Hickman set a new lap record, completing a lap of the Schneefel mountain course at an average speed of 135.452 miles per hour. That's the fastest anyone has ever gone on this course, and it's a testament to both his skill and the advancements in motorcycle technology. But it's not just the riders who have evolved. The TT itself has seen significant changes over the years, particularly in terms of safety. After the tragic death of racer Bob McIntyre in 1977, the TT was removed from the Grand Prix motorcycle racing calendar due to safety concerns. However, the event continued independently, and organizers have since implemented a number of measures to reduce the risks. These include the installation of air fences, crash barriers, and improved medical facilities around the course. Despite these efforts, the inherent danger of the race remains, and fatalities are still a tragic reality of the event. One of the unique aspects of the Isle of Man TT is the fan experience. Unlike many other motorsport events, spectators at the TT can get incredibly close to the action. The roadsides are lined with fans, sometimes just a few feet away from the speeding motorcycles. This proximity creates an intense, immersive atmosphere that's unmatched in any other racing event. So, what makes the Isle of Man TT so special? It's the combination of history, danger, skill, and spectacle. It's the fact that for over 100 years, riders have come to this small island in the Irish Sea to push themselves and their machines to the absolute limit. It's the stories of triumph and tragedy, of legendary riders and unforgettable moments that have made the TT one of the most iconic events in motorsport. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to appreciate the sheer bravery of the riders who tackle this course year after year. Racing around the Isle of Man at over 130 miles per hour requires not just skill, but a level of courage that is hard to comprehend. These riders are modern-day gladiators, battling against the course, the clock, and the ever-present danger that lurks around every corner.